Keyboard Warrior, Medal of Honor. I kind of just love this. I want one. I genuinely kind of want one. I just, I'd put that on my jacket. I'd be walking around with a big Keyboard Warrior medal on me. This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we're going to be taking another look at r/justneckbeardthings. As it sounds, this is a subreddit dedicated to moments when neckbeards are being quite neckbeardy. As soon as I start recording, I've got an eyelash deciding to invade my eye. Oh, I smudged my makeup. Well, hopefully that's not too obvious on camera. Very quickly before we begin, I just wanted to mention that, hey, if you like my content, you can get 4 extra videos every single month for as low as £1 a month. So consider that. That's 25p per video. I can't talk today. That's 25p per video. So if you think that my content is worth that, please do consider doing that. It helps support the channel and it helps support my content. Other than that, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? Never let them forget how stupid this is. Never let them know, lol. Never let them forget that they are judging the acting of a person based on their looks compared to a fictional child. Now, ignoring this, I've only seen season 1 of The Last of Us so far, but also The Last of Us 1 was the only good Last of Us. So, I thought Bella Ramsey absolutely nailed the role of Ellie. Honestly, they might not look exactly like Ellie. And I will say they did style Bella's hair slightly different to how Ellie has it styled, like the fringe is missing, but I can get past that because the acting was great. Season 1 of The Last of Us was really good, and in my opinion, really lived up to the first game. Haven't watched season 2 yet, but the second game is kind of shit, so I'm not expecting good things anyway. But I fully believe that any flaws with season 2 that I'll encounter will be down to the writing and not down to Bella's acting. But regardless of that, even if Bella wasn't a very good fit for the role, harassing them over their role in a show is just not acceptable, and this is happening so much, and we definitely see it happen way more frequently with like queer and non-binary actors, right? I've seen a lot of people referring to Bella as it and like dehumanizing them and being really, really gross, and that's just not acceptable regardless. And we see this with so many fandoms. With the Star Wars sequels, films that I'm not particularly a big fan of, we had the actress that played Rosie, I can't remember her name, I'll put it on screen right now, she was getting death threats. We had in Marvel the actress that played Tony Stark's daughter, who was literally a child, received death threats, and her family received death threats, and she had to make a public video saying, "Stop it, guys, I'm sorry." She had to apologize for her role in a Marvel film. Going back in time a little bit, we had the Voltron fandom that would harass actors in that and send them death threats. We had actors in the Star Wars trilogies, like the actor that played Jar Jar Binks or the actor that played Anakin. Like, fandoms do this so frequently and so often, and it's not acceptable ever, no matter who it's directed at. They aborted my girlfriend. I can't stop thinking that the woman who would have fallen in love with me was aborted in this timeline, and that's why I'm alone. In another alternate timeline, her mother didn't abort her, and she grew up to fall in love with me. I must be very happy there, but here I'm a failure. Without a doubt, my aborted girlfriend would have loved me, and I wouldn't be sad. I like this because it's an illustration of how the ideal woman is necessarily a hypothetical woman. Real women aren't good enough because they have wants and needs and the ability to say no. The problem is there's no way to make the ideal woman exist, because then she'll be a real woman and no longer ideal by virtue of existing. The aborted girlfriend is the exact same thing as the anime waifu or the AI girlfriend, but with the absolute horrible implication that if we politically strip the rights of real women that exist now, we can somehow will the ideal woman into existence. There is so many layers to take apart here. First of all, this person believing that his ideal girlfriend had been aborted and that's why he's single. Just completely removing any self-reflection or introspection or self-blame from the equation, He talks about how he's a failure, but only because his girlfriend was aborted. It couldn't possibly be him that's the issue. Maybe if you have some introspection and work on some self-improvement, work on your personality and yourself and your life, try and make yourself a life that you don't feel is a failure, then maybe people would actually want to spend time with you. Followed up by this person saying that the ideal woman can't exist because women have wants and needs, and it really raises the question, what do these people actually want from a relationship? Because it sounds like they just want a servant. They want someone that they can have sex with and that will do all of their work for them, and that's kind of it. Because when I think of an ideal partner, I mean, I think of Leo because he is my partner, but I think of someone who I can have conversations with, you know, who I can enjoy spending time with, who I can play games with, who I can talk about my enthusiasms, who I can talk about their enthusiasms, who I can live my life with, you know. That's the ideal. A partner is someone that you want to spend your life with. Just having someone because they can't say no, because they're there to do work for you, isn't an ideal partner. It's a slave. If these people ever wonder, why don't girls want to date me? It's because your ideal girlfriend is someone who doesn't exist and can't say no. It's because you have these unrealistic standards that no woman wants to abide by, because you're literally saying, my ideal woman is someone who doesn't have rights. That's why women don't want to be with you. Time magazine's definition of a perfect body in 1955. Do you agree? Way too fat for me. Too fat? This woman is healthy. This is exactly how I would describe someone who is quite healthy, because a level of fat is healthy. You know, there's this image that was pushed onto us since around I'm gonna say the 90s, which is that stick thin, you know, zero body fat, but also zero muscle woman that magazines have pushed onto us and forced eating disorders onto people for the last like 30 years, you know? And it's not healthy. Those people aren't healthy. You need a layer of fat on you. You need layers of fat and muscle. And I would argue that this picture from 1955 shows exactly that. This is quite a healthy body. She's not overweight, but she's not super skinny, and she looks relatively toned and athletic. From a non-sexual standpoint, this is a very good body. From a sexual standpoint, it's also a very good body. Hey, so that's a f***ing toddler and a full-grown adult. Okay, but more importantly, they're not real, so calm down. There. Also, I 100% dare you to use the same argument for fictional children. I dare you. Well, I will, because they're fictional children. I know they're not real, so you can do anything to them, and it would hurt literally 0 people. Like, who do you hurt when you murder someone in a video game? To keep it on kids, BioShock 1 and 2 lets you murder little girls. Are you gonna think someone wants to murder a child if they do it in BioShock? Anyway, I'm gonna ship more problematic ships. Lunar X Celestia X Twilight sounds fun. I'm gonna break down this argument because I've seen it used a lot. They use violent video games a lot. And like, yeah, violence in video games is violence. But they use this like, BioShock 1 and 2 lets you murder girls. Are you saying that people want to murder children because they play those games? And I really have to put forwards the idea that the forefront, the main premise of BioShock isn't that you kill children, okay? Yes, there might be a couple of occasions in it where that happens. However, that is not the central focus of the game. And you know what? If someone told me, the only reason I play BioShock is because I get to kill children, then yes, I would think that is weird. But the fact of the matter is that's not the central focus, is it? Whereas in an environment around, you know, illicit images of cartoon children, the forefront focus is exactly that. That is the reason that you're consuming that material. The reason you play BioShock isn't to kill children, and if it was, that would be weird. And in the same vein, how can Lolly be considered CP? Also, CP doesn't exist. It's called CSEM, because children are unable to consent and therefore it's not porn. Lolly can be considered that because that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it's derived from. The term lolly comes from Lolita, which is a book about a child in a relationship with an adult. That's exactly where the term comes from. That's exactly what it means. Pretty much summed up. That's exactly what the term means. Also, I love that they try and use the like, also CP doesn't exist, it's CSEM, because children can't consent, which furthermore pushes how wrong it is. Like, using that argument, they've just damned themselves to say children can't consent, so it's actually exploitation material. Yeah, if you're anti-porn, What the do you think about all day? Anything else? I'm not anti-porn. I would like to state I'm not anti-porn. However, I don't think about it all day. I have a life where I do other things and I've got other things going on. I've got YouTube videos to edit. I've got a partner to spend time with. I've got video games to play. I've got shows to watch. I've got so much going on in my life that isn't just jorking it. The male creation cycle. Men get obsessed with something weird, risky, or intense. Gaming, martial arts, tech, hacking, comedy, abstract science, chess, or some type of joke. Women ignore it, often mock it as childish, pointless, nerdy, or immature. Men push it further, innovate, compete, and build their own culture. Sometimes messy, sometimes genius. It blows up, gets money, fame, influence. Then suddenly women start saying, "Where are the women? Why aren't we represented? This is sexism." They take too long to enter or enter late, and then demand changes, complain it's toxic, and try to restructure it to be more inclusive. Causes chaos, and then finally gets the chance to enter through brute force. They try and copy and compete with men, but they fail to compete, and fail to do similar as men, caused by the lack of biological urge to do it, lack of passion, and the true cause being female empowerment, not pure interest or obsession, as it was built by men, for men, and men are naturally good at it. They blame patriarchy, male ego, misogyny, sexism, and oppression for the outcome, and keep up with the chaos. This is such a self-report because they talk about men making something, which, sure, in a lot of these cases, men made them. But then the second point, they said women ignore it and mock it as childish or nerdy. This isn't the case, though. I mean, historically, things like gaming, when it first took off, were mocked as being nerdy or immature. Granted. However, that was done so by men and women alike. The reality is, women tried to join these things when they first started, but these elitist men, which is exemplified in number 8, is that the men believe that the women can't compete with the men and are not as good as the men. They belittle the women and act like they know nothing about the hobby or science or whatever, as shown by this person saying that the women fail to do the same as men, and then they get pushed out of the hobby. So then only the women that are really passionate about it stick around because they refuse to be pushed out, which results in there being very few women in that hobby. So basically, it's this cycle of men create something that women are interested in, men push the women out, men then blame the women for not being a part of it when the women want to be a part of it, and then they make posts like this where they push the women out, blame the women for ruining the hobbies, and then go, "See, the women just didn't want to be in it from the start. It's definitely not that I pushed them out of the hobby and belittled them from the start," because that's the reality of these things. This is an ad that I keep getting an annoying amount, and Leo keeps getting an annoying amount on Reddit and YouTube and everything, which is this High School DxD harem game for gentlemen. I love that they say for gentlemen. Tips fedora, milady. I'm a gentleman, which is why I play my harem games. High School DxD isn't good. I thought it was good when I was a teenager, when I was like 15 years old, because I was like, pure copium. It's not just about the boobs, you know, there's actually good fighting in it. The fighting is so blatantly like power trip that it's laughable looking back. But I can't believe it's making a resurgence with a harem game for gentlemen. Like, oh, but like people that blatantly don't have an interest in it are getting ads for it, and it's everywhere at the moment. I guarantee YouTube allowing ads for this game on their platform. If I did a video playing this game on YouTube, YouTube would demonetize it. They wouldn't let you put ads for this game on the video of you playing this game, which is hilarious. The illusion of free choice. Paying for sex. Paying for gym memberships, clothes, covers, gifts, dinners. Checking account balance, $13.79. Except they're not the same thing though, are they? Like if the only reason you're engaging in a relationship is for sex, you're not engaging in that relationship, because that's not what relationships are about. I've talked about this already, but a relationship is being with someone you want to spend your life with, not just because you're having sex with them. But also, all of the things on the right-hand side you could be doing for reasons that aren't sex. You know, going to the gym, buying nice clothes that you like, eating well, are all things that you do for yourself. They are all self-improvement things. You get fit and less unhealthy because you want to improve yourself. You buy nice clothes to make yourself feel better about yourself, you know? The right one is about self-improvement. And yes, you have to invest some money into self-improvement, but the outcome isn't just that you're paying for sex. You're improving yourself. So the one on the left is worse because there is no self-improvement. You're just getting a kick and you get nothing out of it. And if the result on the right-hand one is that you have a partner and you can have sex with said partner, then that's great, but it's about self-improvement. That's not the goal. And the final post. Day by day, I am realizing that I am more built for the post-apocalyptic world than today's civilized world. With a picture of Negan. They really think that they're Negan in this scenario? They're the person that Negan brains with a baseball bat or a zombie bites on day one. Like, these people think that they would survive in an apocalypse because they're just delusional. I know I wouldn't survive in an apocalypse. I know for a fact I wouldn't, but neither would any of these other people because it's an apocalypse. You're not gonna have food. You're gonna have to be doing a lot more exercise than these people are willing to do. You're not going to be able to have proper shelter. You're not gonna have electricity. You're going to have to learn to scavenge for food or hunt for food. You're going to have to learn to cook something that isn't a ready meal. You know, there's layers and layers of things that you would have to do, and these people just think, no, I'd make it in the apocalypse because I could be violent and hit another person with a baseball bat, even though they would lose. In that instance, anyone more athletic than them would win in that fight. Like, laughably delusional. Hilariously so. But that's where I'm going to end the video. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally, you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. A huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support the channel though. All of you are on screen right now. It genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much. So thank you to everybody that does. And to anybody that's considering it, and to those of you that are already supporting the channel, if you do support the channel for as low as £1 a month, you'll get 4 extra videos every month. So please do consider that if you value my content. It helps me create more content and you get extra content in the process. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.